Hi, friends. Monday's message, and I'd like to talk to you about detachment and attachment today as it relates to the creative process and receiving. And I've had a lot of clients, especially in the last week and even today, who I noticed in their process, they are attached to outcomes. They are attached to situations that might be bothering them. They are attached to feelings of worry, concern, anxiety, fear, what have you. So detachment isn't just for those conscious manifestations we're trying to make where we visualize what we want, we surround it in white light, and then we release it into the universe. Now that's an active, intentional, let's create something. But of course, we're creating 24/7. We're making something happen all the time, right? So it's important that in our present moment, we're aware of the attachments we're making and learn, train our systems to detach. And what causes us to attach is this thing. It's this thing up here, the mind. Sometimes there's heart-driven energy behind it. We're trying to fill something inside of us, and we're hungry for something. And when we think this thing out here might fill us in some way, or it's given us some indication it might fill us in some way, we attach to it because we want it. Again, we think it's going to fill us up in some way. Not true, but that's how the emotions sometimes get in there and tell us that attachment is a good idea. So let's talk about forms of attachment, what it looks like in your daily life. Let's say you're waiting on some money. Somebody owes you money. And you keep calling, you keep emailing, you keep writing, and they keep saying, I'll pay, and they don't pay. And you're getting, I'm getting frustrated, I'm getting upset, I'm getting worried. This is not what I signed up for. Oh, and a lot of kvetching over not getting paid. That kind of anxiousness, that kind of pushing energy is complete attachment. And when we want a flow of energy to come to us, we have to not, it's like a hose. In the old days, you have the hose and then it would bend and then the water would constrict. It's the same way with the flow of energy. We can't constrict the hose. We have to keep the channel open. And the better use of our energy and our concentration is when we find ourselves getting upset or frustrated or irritated with a situation, whether it's financial or otherwise, that we actually lean into this and say, why am I reacting? Why is this my response to what's happening? Why do I think this is a good idea? What does it mean about me that this is my chosen response pattern to this moment? Why am I giving up my precious life force energy and going over to this contracted space because of this thing over here? And believe it or not, when you master that piece of leaning in and going into the feeling as opposed to trying to control something by staying attached, you're going to expand yourself internally. And when you expand internally, what happens? The external expands. So that moment when we're like, I'm so frustrated, I'm so upset, this thing is not coming that I want to come, we say, why am I reacting in this way? Why is this my chosen response pattern? And you follow it back and you unpack that and you unwind that until you get to the point where you're like, oh, I don't have any control anyhow. It's really best for me to maintain my peace, my happiness, my gratitude for life in general, and let that thing go. It doesn't mean if you told someone you're going to call them on Friday to follow up on something, you don't follow up on Friday. It means that you're not emotionally or mentally attached to it. It's outside of you. And you attend to it as if it were outside of you. You don't take it into your being. You are truly detached. And in my world, I usually say something to the effect, divine or my intangible community, take over. Really take over. I'm not winning at this situation. Relieve me of this burden. And that works for me. But we all have to find our own way to relieve our burdens and to let go of attachments. They really slow us down. They steal our life force energy. They lower our magnetism. And ultimately, what does that do? We are working against ourselves. And you want to be working with yourself. You want to follow where the energy goes. We have this idea that getting things or making things happen is actually the answer to happiness. I know. Welcome to Western culture, right? It's just, it doesn't work. It's not true. It never will be true. What fills us up is a sense of self-mastery, which is a sense of connectedness to community and to greater reality, a sense of inner accomplishment, the ability to execute tasks that enhance our life experience. Most things that make us happy have practically nothing to do with anything outside of ourselves. But somehow we stay fixed on, well, if this thing just happens, or if that thing just happens, or if I can just get this, then everything will be in balance for me. And that's forever the dangled carrot. So as you move about your week, because this is a very busy week, get ready, people. This last week of July is wild. So get ready for the roller coaster of this week. But the point is, be aware of your attachments. Be aware of being able to detach. Because when you feed your inner power source, when you keep your energy, you don't fritter it away on things outside of you, your magnetism increases, everything becomes easier. It just gets easier. I don't know how else to say it other than that. It's like, do yourself a favor. We forget that the internal growth is more important than what happens on the external. It's the inner expansion that causes the outer expansion. So lean into that frustration. Lean into that disappointment. Oh, I want a partner now. I'm really ready to have love in my life right now. I need it now, almost like a toddler. No, if you're resisting what your moment is, that's what you want to pay attention to. Pay attention to that resistance to go, why am I doing that? What's that really about? Am I lonely? Do I think I'm not valuable? Is my readiness where it needs to be? We really want to go inward and solve what comes up for us as we react to life's experiences on the day-to-day. That is going to give you so much bang for your buck, as opposed to chasing and going after and fighting the present moment. So take your temperature on detachment. It's important. And figure out how to detach. In my world, I fight it out with myself. And it's not always easy. I have identification points myself. But I'm a willing participant. I'm a little bit practiced at it because I've recognized there are benefits on the other side. But for me, anytime something starts to contract in my space, I immediately go, interesting. Well, I know I can't be given a learning experience I don't need, so I need to now figure out what's in this for me. That's my job right now. I need to keep moving in the direction of mining the gold from my experience. And then it becomes interesting. It's like suddenly I have a new challenge, and this thing that was taking my mind power before suddenly doesn't. Suddenly I'm on path to really get in a flow with life. So that's how it works for me. I'm a willing participant in the process. And if you can become a willing participant, and when that energy hits, rather than go, why are they not paying me? Why is love not showing up? Why is that job not showing up? Rather than that, go, oh, look at how I'm reacting to that. And let me see if I can take my power back from that by leaning into divine wisdom and saying, what's in this for me? There's got to be something here for me. What is it? And that's my agenda. And until I get that information, I stay on track with that. It actually, kind of like a game, it puts a different dimension to your life and a different level of fulfillment, and it takes you out of the stress and anxiety game. I hope that's helpful to you. And again, this is all on the Energy of Abundance. If you've never read the book, it's available online and all other places. Okay. Love you. Take care.